Welcome to our monthly Business Builder Speaker Series. This was an idea that came out of the COVID days when we couldn't get together in person, and we said, let's get together virtually once a month. We'll bring on a speaker with a topic that we think is important and valuable to real estate agents. So we encourage you to join us every third Wednesday at 10 o'clock to get great tips and tricks from industry experts to help you grow your real estate business. We know that you're busy and we appreciate you sharing your time with us. To make the most of your time, we encourage you to ask questions. You can participate either just by unmuting yourself and asking a question or using the chat box. We also encourage you to stay connected with Shea Fritz and Dean. We are on all the socials listed here. Additionally, we post our Business Builder Speaker Series on our website under the Resource tab. So you can always go to the Resource tab and catch up on prior episodes that you might have missed. This episode will be posted in just another week or two after today's air date. Here's a list of this year's year-to-date speakers for our Business Builder Speaker Series. And again, you can find those on our website under the Resource tab. Mark calendar, the third Wednesday next month will be October 15th at 10 a.m. and we'll have a new speaker for next week. Our speaker next week is going to be Denny Faircloth, and he's going to talk about going from sale to sold and using an investor-based analysis to sell for more. So tune in next month, October 15th at 10 a.m. for our next session of the Business Builder Speaker Series. This month, we're proud to invite Aleece Kardon, financial educator and licensed representative, on financial education for the real estate professionals on how money works. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Aleece. I'll stop sharing my screen, Aleece, and you can go ahead and put up your presentation.
Okay, well, good morning, Doug. Thank you so much for the honor to talk to you and your guests. I've known you, Doug, for a very long time, and I'm always honored to help you in any way that I can. And today I want to extend that into the real estate realm. I want to be able to be a resource for the realtors that you know, that I know, that everybody on this call knows. And so we're going to do it in two parts. Part one, I'm going to talk about how does the realtor help himself first? In other words, how do they get their own house in order, thinking about the 7 money milestones? And then we'll go over into how does the realtor help their clients, help their business, also using the 7 money milestones. But I just wanted to introduce who I am. My name is Aleece Kardon. I am also an attorney for over 30 years, and I'm a financial educator and licensed representative for almost that long as well. My family suffered from not having these money milestones in place. My father died at the age of 47. He went out running and never came home. My mother was a widow at 39 years old with 3 young children. I was 17, my sister was 15, and my brother was 13. What made matters worse is that my father died with no will, no life insurance, and debt. So when we were growing up, you learn money concepts one or two ways. Either you learn the wrong way, you do the wrong mortgage, you get the wrong loan, or someone like me or someone you know comes in and talks to you about that. So my father never talked to us. We never had conversations about money growing up. I remember growing up, we always watched MASH. And now I'm really dating myself. We watched MASH, we watched television, we never really talked. And things just appeared, right? The vacation appeared, the car appeared. It's just these things magically appeared. And so when my father died with debt, all of a sudden my mother was left in a tornado of now what? And for her, the most important thing was obviously keeping the house, staying in the house for her and for us to try to keep everything as similar as it was. And so because she was not the recipient of a life insurance policy, because my father left her in debt, she had to, at 39 years old, go to her parents for help. And so thank goodness that they were able to help her pay expenses and keep the house in place so that she could go on with her life and keeping us in the house. Let me see. So why does this matter to you and as a real estate professional? It matters to you because you are a 1099. You don't work for a big company. You're not going to get salary that you know exactly what is coming in at exactly the right time. So it could be feast or famine. I remember a few years ago, anybody and everybody that wanted to be a real estate agent could. Now things have kind of leveled out. And so, the stronger survive it. And I want to help you not only survive, but excel. And so being a commission only is hard, right? You have to plan for the expenses. You have expenses as a business owner. You have CRM expenses. You have advertising expenses. And then you have taxes, which no one likes to pay, but they have to be paid and you have to allocate for them. So a huge commission deal also means a huge tax on that. And some people need to plan for that. And so you need to pull that piece aside and you need to know where are you keeping that money. There are no employer benefits. So how are you going to retire? Have you planned? Have you thought about putting a retirement plan in place? Obviously, if you're in the real estate business, you don't have a lifetime pension. You don't have a 401k. You don't have some of the benefits that employees have. So you need to plan for those. A lot of people that I talk to seem to get stuck in the sucker cycle, which means I don't know where my money is going, right? At the end of the month, I don't know. It just disappears. Well, the reason that is disappearing is because you're not accountable. You don't know where it's going. So the sucker cycle, we want to aim to break that. So it's really important to know where is your money going. And down below are some of the examples of where money sometimes disappears to. I know families with young children rushing to soccer games and tennis lessons and picking up from school and homework don't have time to cook, meal prep, just run through Chick-fil-A, right? And Chick-fil-A is getting more expensive, and so that gets more expensive as well. I know I have my Netflix, which I love, but all of a sudden it seems to increase slowly, right? It started out $12, then 13 and 15. I think it's up to like $17 now. And so those little increases don't really matter from time to time, but in the big scheme picture, it does matter. And I have a client that loves her Starbucks. She loves her latte. She goes every single morning, Monday through Friday, to get her latte, which is about $5. $5 5 times a week is $25 a week, which is $100 a month, which is $1,200 a year. And that is just one little piece of the sucker cycle. So if you don't know where your money is going, you can find out. Write it down, get a budgeting app. Now, what are the 7 money milestones? Here are the 7 money milestones. They are acquiring a financial education, proper protection, having an emergency fund in place, debt management, cash flow, wealth building, and estate preservation. So I want to help you as agents get your own house in order first. Just like when you're on the airplane and they say, put your own mask on first. How can you possibly help clients if you don't have these things in place for yourself? I'm trying to switch the slide. So financial education. We use books in financial education in addition to Zoom calls, education like you're listening to right now. These are some of the books. If you think, oh, maybe I would like one of these books, give me a shout. I'm happy to get you one. You don't need to go on Amazon to buy them. I'm happy to get you a book. So becoming financially confident is financial education. Understanding your own money better. Budgeting, saving, and investing. You want to reduce stress during market slowdowns. You want to build your personal wealth and your long-term security. Now I'm going to share a little secret with you. This is the secret sauce of financial education. Actually, one of them. There are two. The first one is called the Rule of 72, which is a mathematical computation that determines how is your money going to double. You take the number 72 and divide the interest rate, and that's how many years it will take for your money to double. So for example, we'll keep math easy. If you have $100 sitting at 1%, it will double in 72 years, which means $100 goes to $200 in 72 years. But what if you could get a bigger interest rate? Look how much faster your money will double. Now, the stock market on average does about 8% a year. So it's not unrealistic to get 6%, maybe 9% on your money. So that same $100 can go to 200, to 400, to 800, to 16, 32, 64, and you can kind of see how the snowball is getting faster, bigger with the amount of time that you have. Imagine if we gave $10,000 to a 19-year-old. And imagine if this was a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA means that taxes have already been paid, which means this money is going to build tax-free. $10,000 at different interest rates double faster. So you can see the longer that you have and the higher the interest rate, the faster that money will double. So if this 19-year-old just left that $10,000 in a 1% savings account versus doing some other things with the money, that $16,000 tax-free could be $2 million, which is crazy. So moving on, let's talk about adequate protection. Adequate protection is the cornerstone of why my mother suffered. There was no life insurance in place. Life insurance pays a death benefit tax-free. It's the basis of safeguarding your income is adequate protection. The unforeseen loss of a primary breadwinner can throw a family's financial situation into turmoil. So if you know someone who does life insurance, please get with that person. If not, I'm happy to talk to anybody about this. I do not charge to talk to people, but having life insurance in place is crucial. I know you as realtors talk to clients about getting them into the house of their dreams, right? And I know there's a big difference if you go from, let's say, $200,000 to a $300,000 house and then up to a 4 and a 5 and so on. There's a big difference. And sometimes clients, once they see that more expensive house, they have to have it, because what we do is we buy on emotion and then we justify it, right? So if you are having a client that just keeps wanting more and more, and maybe there is a primary breadwinner and a stay-at-home mom, that primary breadwinner really needs to have life insurance in place to prevent what happened to my family. How much life insurance should you really have? Well, it depends, right? It depends on your age. It depends on your health. It depends on debt, the number of dependents you have, your income or financial situation, and the role in your business. Now, if you are young and healthy, life insurance is much cheaper. There comes a point in time when you might get older, have health issues, and not be able to get the life insurance in place. There are two kinds of life insurance. There is term insurance and there is permanent insurance. Now, term insurance is like renting your house. It goes for a certain amount of time. You really don't have ownership in it. But if something happens and someone passes away, a death benefit is paid to survivors. Permanent insurance, on the other hand, is insurance that will stay in place forever, as long as the policy is being paid. It will survive years and years as long as premiums are paid. So term insurance, or temporary, you can put it in place for a certain amount of time, years, like 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years. Typically, young families put this in place when the children are younger. So if one of the parents passes away, a death benefit, tax-free life insurance will go to the survivor. And I see so many times that the beneficiaries are listed incorrectly. Term insurance and permanent insurance, both. The beneficiary should be the spouse as the primary. The backup or contingent beneficiary, if there are minor children, please name a trust. If you name minor children, that is a big mistake and will cause big problems. Conservatorship will need to be set up in place, guardians, and so on. Permanent insurance, like term insurance, provides a death benefit, but it also provides more. It has a cash account on the inside, which grows tax-free. You can put long-term care protection on this, which means if you get sick along the way, you can tap into this money for that. All those things are tax-free. So think of permanent insurance like buying your house, and think of term insurance like renting your house. So long-term care is a big one because only 70% of people will need it, but only 8% have it planned and planned the right way. So my mother, who is 84 years old right now and is in not great health, had gotten long-term care because when she became a widow, she then learned the hard way what money milestones she did not have in place. And so she put long-term care in place while she was younger, and so it became affordable for her. She now is at home, 84 years old, and just got out of the hospital and has home health care. Guess what? Long-term care is paying that bill. It's not coming out of her pocket. And what a great way to protect your retirement account. Because if you need long-term care and you don't have the insurance, you're going to go through your savings account, and then you probably will go into your retirement account because that's typically where money sits. And so it's really important to consider it. It's expensive and getting more expensive. So depending on the amount of care that you need, it goes up exponentially. Most people want to age in their home, right? They don't want to go right into the nursing home. They say, I want to stay in my home, and my mother's one of these people. She says, I want to stay in my home. I want to die in my home, right? Don't put me in the house. Don't put me in the home. I want to be in my house. So she's made that very clear. And she also has in place the insurance so that me and my brother and sister don't have to fund that bill, because I have friends, and this is a sandwich generation. They are having children in college and parents that are needing this long-term care. So you can imagine the stress that that is putting on those people. Emergency fund is another one. It's fun to talk about, but it's really one of the most important ones. This is having an emergency fund, typically 3 to 6 months of expenses, sitting in an account so that if you need it, if the air conditioning in the house breaks, if the car needs new tires, you have money to put that in place. So here I've done some math for you so you don't have to do math all by yourself. It's recommended 3 to 6 months of expenses. So if you make $50,000 a year, you should have between $12,500 and $25,000 in an emergency fund. And you can see below there are 2 rules for this. Rule number 1, your emergency fund is only for unexpected emergencies, not for the pair of shoes that you have to have, the newest CRM that your business has to have, an emergency. And rule number 2 is if you have the emergency, use it, then refill it. That's what it's for. Debt management. So just like the rule of 72 will work for you, making you money, the rule of 72 will pull you into quicksand if you are in debt, because the credit cards that typically are put in place charge about 24%. That means the bank's money is doubling about every 3 years. And if you're lucky, your money is doubling about every 9 years. So you can see why the bank buildings are really, really big, because the banks know the secret. And this is one of the things that they really don't want consumers to know, is the rule of 72. Because the more you know, the less they make. And so A quick funny story, our main book called How Money Works, Don't Be a Sucker, it has a lollipop on the front. And the reason that the lollipop is on the front, and then if you open the book, the lollipop is shattered. Because when we used to go to the bank and you stand in line and you give the bank your money, and they give you what, 0.01 it used to be, and then they give you the credit card for 24%, there's lollipops at the front of that bank. And if you've been to a bank and the lollipops are there, most of the time they're dum-dums. And so, ironically, the banks know saying that you are dum-dum. But in our business, when we go and we do talks in person to companies, we bring Smarties. Because Smarties and dum-dums are made by the same company. So just a little side story to kind of break up the situation of this serious conversation that we were having. But debt is a big one. Debt is the securing your safety net, turning your attention to debt becomes critical. There are ways to get out of debt. Here's 5 tips first to eliminate and stay out of debt. Know what you owe. No more late payments, one debt at a time. Stop charging and cancel unused subscriptions and refinance your mortgage. So for each debt, write down your outstanding balance, monthly payment, the interest rate that's being charged, and the monthly due date. So there are 2 options that are available that we work with our clients. Option 1 is pay off the smallest balance first. Or option 2, pay off the highest interest rate first. Whichever one you choose, pay more than the minimum, and on the other 2, pay the minimum balance. So option 1 could be pay off credit card number 1. Here you would start because it has the lowest balance. Even though it's a higher interest rate, it's the lowest balance. Or you could start with credit card 2. It has a similar balance than 3, but the interest rate is higher. And then so add the money that you were paying on the previous cards to the last one to get rid of that one. Do not close out old credit cards that you pay off. This will ruin your credit. Whoops. So pay off the credit cards one at a time until you are credit card debt free. And again, don't close the credit card account because it's generally better to keep it open to pay it off. Cash flow. This is a fun one because this one we're going to take our income, maximize our income, and minimize expenses. And then we can take that, it's called the discretionary income, the amount that's left over, and we can fill the money milestones. So the goal of working to try to understand your 7 money milestones is to free up money. So you can see on the left, we started with a small amount of savings because we were stuck in a sucker cycle. We had credit card debt. We didn't have an emergency fund. And so by working through these money milestones, you can free up more money and you can fill the money milestones to have yourself a financially free life. And 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, which is staggering. Wealth building. This is a fun one, and I usually don't get to wealth building with clients if we have no emergency fund, if we have debt, if we don't have protection, because you can't build on wealth when your house is not secure, meaning you don't have a stable base. So when it comes to building wealth, talking about your retirement, people are living so much longer than they were in the past. And so these are the things that people are relying on. Most people rely on Social Security. Then we have an income from savings, and then we have personal savings. So Social Security, right now we are receiving it, our generation. In the future, do you think that our children will or will not have Social Security available to them? So I'm expecting my first grandchild next month. Do you think she will have Social Security available to her? Probably not. And so remember back on our 19-year-old who got that $10,000 and built that to over $2 million tax-free. That is a great way to put a retirement plan in place for a young person that might not have Social Security in the future. Personal savings. We want to accumulate the income from savings. We can use that life insurance cash value that we just talked about in the permanent insurance. We can also use retirement planning. Now, taxes. This is always a fun one, is let's never pay taxes. Well, sometimes you can not pay taxes, and other times taxes are ruled by some of the account that it's sitting in. So taxable accounts are like your stock account, your investment account, your savings account are taxable, meaning at the end of the year, you owe tax on the profit. Qualified plans, meaning retirement plans, and annuities are tax deferred, which means taxes are not paid until that asset is used. At the bottom, government bonds, Roth IRAs, and permanent life insurance, the cash value, are tax-free cash accumulation. Just like that 19-year-old that had that $10,000 that we talked about earlier, if that was a Roth IRA, that $10,000 is going to build, and at the end, no taxes are paid. Just like permanent life insurance. When it builds, it's tax-free. And also, as a side note, permanent life insurance is not shown as an asset on FAFSA college applications. And finally, money milestone number 7. This is the estate planning. This is the will, the trust, financial powers, and healthcare powers that are put in place to protect a legacy. So these are the 4 documents that every estate plan should include. A will, which identifies the guardian of minor and special needs children, financial power of attorney, an advance directive or living will, and the HIPAA release. Going into the advance directive for healthcare or living will is really important for any child over the age of 18. Because if they need to see the doctor, that doctor does not have a legal obligation to talk to the parent unless that parent has a healthcare directive and is the agent for the child. You don't need an attorney to get this in place. You can Google Georgia Advance Directive for Healthcare right online, and it will give you the form. It does not need to be notarized, just witnessed by 2 people. So a lot of talk about trusts. Back when it was COVID, trusts were really convenient because people didn't work in the courthouses. So when property had to go through probate, which is a process by which property is owned by someone who passes away and doesn't have a beneficiary, nobody worked in the courthouses, so probate became a big deal. Trust bypassed probate. So if you know a client that has property, let's say in Florida, in Colorado, in North Carolina, in all different states, if they die with that property in their name, they will go through probate in all of those states. An easy fix is to put a Georgia trust in place and put all those different properties in the Georgia trust, which avoids probate in Georgia and in all those other states. So it manages your property, bypasses probate. A big one that's really important is also if there are any special needs trusts to be put in place for children that are receiving government benefits, like autistic children. I have a client whose child is cystic fibrosis, and so that child will always need government benefits. If that child becomes a beneficiary of a trust, of a life insurance policy straight out, the government benefits probably will be cut off. So that needs to be set up as a special needs trust. Trusts are also private, meaning they are not admitted to the courthouses like wills are. And again, it avoids multiple state probate, and it can lower estate tax. So let's talk about you as the realtor helping clients. So it's more about let's get the house in place. It's really about creating that lifestyle and that dream for that client. So when that client imagines themselves in that house, an emotion of, this is the life that I want, kind of rises in them. And typically, you as realtors are dealing with people in these transitional stages, right? There's a family change, meaning marriage, having children, getting divorced, people dying, moving in or out of state, and a financial change. And so all of these transitions always involve you, are typically the reason that people are buying or selling houses. And so this is a perfect opportunity for you as the realtor to really become that trusted resource. And I know when I moved to Georgia years ago, my realtor became my phone book, right? Where should I go for this? Who is an attorney that can help me for this? Who is a person I can use for this? And so you want to become that with your clients, and you can. So, what happens when you become that trusted advisor, the collaborator, not just a real estate agent, right? You're going to improve your cash flow and your financial security and strategy because it's not just feast or famine now. Now you are also becoming stickier with your clients, right? You can help them in so many ways that you might start a conversation with somebody about, hey, did you know that, so and so just had a baby? I wonder if they have life insurance. And then you might start that conversation and it might come back over into, oh, I think that they're going to sell or buy their house. They are having children. And so that's a way for you to cross market conversations. You want to build lasting, deep relationships. As a realtor, I know you can spend so much time in the car with these people that you really get to know them and their family and their wants and their needs. Why not have really a deeper conversation to strengthen your relationship with them? And so it's really more not just about the house, it's the lifestyle. It's you want to get that person in the home, but you also want to keep them in the home because that's really the biggest asset that anyone's ever going to purchase. And so how great would it be if you get them in the home of their dreams and they have the financial knowledge, that they know that they need that life insurance in place, that they know they should think about long-term care, that they know that they should have that emergency fund in place. What a great resource you can be for them. And so, in closing, I just want you to know that I'm here as an educator. I am not here to sell you anything. I am not here to ask you to buy anything or do anything. I thank you, Doug, for allowing me to be a resource for your agent, for your relationships. And so there might be one or two milestones that you say, you know what, oh my, that hit me good. That hit me sideways. I need to talk about that. If there is, feel free to contact me. If you work with an advisor, contact them, ask the questions. Start small, stay consistent, but share the knowledge because it builds trust. And so I want you to know that you need to protect what matters. I want you to protect yourself, your house, because if you can't help anybody else unless you have these things in place, help yourself first. Get your money milestones in place first. And then talk to clients. Have the hard conversations because sometimes you say, I can't ask that. That might be offensive. But what if it's not an offensive? What if someone had talked to my parents, my father, about, oh, you're in, nice neighborhood, nice house. You have life insurance, right? You have a will, right? What if someone had asked my family that? I'm sure that my mother's life probably would have been a lot easier. And she was 39 then, and she's now 84 years old, and she still hurts from that experience so many years ago. So please, please don't let that be you. Don't let that be people that you know. Here's a QR code, scan it, hop on my calendar, give me a call, give me an email. I'm here to help you and your clients. And again, Doug and Schaeferts and Dean, y'all are the best. And thank you so much for allowing me the honor to be a business builder. And if there's any questions, feel free to ask me. If not today, feel free to call me or email me.
Aleece,
Well,
thank you. Thanks for joining our show today. And I'll throw it open for questions. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, Aleece, I first want to thank you for that. That was a very good education. Um, it told me a lot of things that I already knew and a lot of things that I didn't already know. And I do have one question for you. You
Fire
touched
away.
on trust. You touched on trust. And if
Yes.
I understand you correctly, you said that if you own properties in other states, you can put those properties in a Georgia trust. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, and that is really important question, Michael. Because if you are a Georgia resident and you own property in different states, you will go through property in the different states, assuming you own those properties as an individual. If you
That
put
is
those
correct.
properties in a revocable or living trust, meaning you are going to change the ownership of that property from the individual to the name of the trust, that avoids that probate. And I know you can also do it with LLCs. I know a lot of my clients have rental properties, right? A lot of agents say, I have a side business if I rent out properties. And then they put that in an LLC. They can put the LLC, they assign the interest to the trust. They can put their name from their name into the name of the trust, and that both of those things avoid the probate. And in Florida, probate is expensive, it is complicated, and you do not want to die with property in Florida.
Well, that information in itself was worth me being on the call, because I
Well,
do have that very similar situation.
thank you, Michael.
So
And
yeah,
that's it's a
so
huge, huge, huge important question.
it
And
is.
a lot of times, and people sometimes I see have a trust in place and nothing is in the trust.
Mhm.
Right? That does not take care of any problem because you need to have the trust and have the property and or the LLC in the trust.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Aleece, thanks for joining us today. Our guests who are watching our presentation, we've recorded the Zoom and we will clean it up, add the credits, the music, post it to our YouTube channel, and link to it on our website under the Resources tab. So you'll be able to share it with your friends and review the materials in just another week or two in the Resource tab on our website. And I want to thank you for joining our presentation today. And remember to tune in next month, Wednesday, October 15th at 10 a.m. for our next Business Builder presentation. So thanks for joining us today. Remember to heed the 7 money principles that Aleece shared with us today. Reach out to Aleece if you have questions or need more information. And thanks again for joining us and have a great day. Wishing you
Thank
all
you.
the
Thank you.
best with your
Thank you
real
so much.
estate and your financial matters.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Elise. I appreciate it.
Thank you all so much. Have a great
Mhm.
day.
You too.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.